My name is Victoria Chang, and I will be reading a poem called Oxygen from my book, Obit. Oxygen died on March 12, 2012. At first, it came in heavy green canisters, then a large rolling machine that pushed air day and night. When my mother changed her clothes, she had to take the tube out of her nose. She stopped to catch her breath, as if breath were constantly in motion, as if it could be chased. I'm not sure when I began to notice her panic without the oxygen, and the way we don't notice a leaf turning red or an empire falling. One day, it just appears, as if it had been there all along, like the hospice staff with their papers, bags of medicine, their garlands of silence. Like grief, the way it dangles from everything, like earrings. The way grief needs oxygen. The way, every once in a while, it catches the light and starts smoking. The way my grief will die with me. The way it will cleave and grow like antlers.
My name is Joseph A. Dandran, and I come from Kwantlen First Nation. I'll be reading a poem from my book, The East Side of It All, and the poem is called The Sturgeon's Lover. In the deepest part of the river there lived a great sturgeon, and she swam along the bottom and fed upon the dead who had fallen. She was about 300 years old, and when she was full, she came to the surface and jumped as high as she could, and all the males came to her, and she kissed each male and let them have her. Months later, she quietly went to her favorite part of the river, and there she released her eggs in the millions, and then began again to swim the bottom and to search for any new bodies that had fallen from upriver, which she feasted upon with her old, softly kissed lips. The legend goes that a fisherman had fallen into the water and was drowning. When the great sturgeon came to him and asked him for a kiss, he agreed, and the two fell in love, and together they would feed upon all the food at the bottom of the river. One day her eggs came to life and created the people across the water. The people lived there for centuries, and the sturgeon and the man would visit from time to time, bringing them food to survive the cold winters, until the people too walked into the water and fell to the bottom as the man kissed his lover. Today we do not fish for sturgeon, as their numbers have been decimated by overfishing and loss of spawning grounds. Whenever I catch a sturgeon in my net, I let her go, and she always turns back and smiles as she flicks her mighty tail and splashes me. My son always laughs as I stand there stunned and wet, while the great sturgeon slowly swims away and turns back to blow us a kiss. We both wipe our lips as the great sturgeon falls to the bottom of the water. There, waiting for her, is her lover. He kisses her one last time. She cries as she begins to eat him.
My name is Kinesia Lugren, and I am reading from The Dysgraphist. Is it not enough to enter ending oneself in the halving road, and the fires in us blot the coasts that reject us, and we sugar the desert we screed, frantic for fullness, if fragile, if symbols, if nothingness, at first a doubt, escalating our verbings, if still ourselves a thing to become past wavering interests in peace, given only for spilling. We call that face which is no face. A craved choice. Eureka in someone's drawn God, I am the next could praise now. If I were not set ablaze enough. If that morning I hadn't the thirst to lean into the world with an ear to a mouth. begging for the happened thing, for something disguised. What could prove this dust is freshly mouthed, not some cyclic, newly vaporized empire settling its faithless wages. Eyes masses, these bent backs, enough. Yet to be great in this gathering, the voice must bend toward apology. The tiredness of growing cold. Invade the wages of simple deaths. Sorry, Jejun says Jejun is sorry. But for whom and what has I arrived? For whom does this dam fill the sky? These molecules blind eaten from that distance, as everything I learns about disappearance, rains lifetimes, spent in this catastrophic crowd. So what if a wormhole? So what if the woman who wakes with jejun is reduced, irrigated, salted, harvested, and thrown again to exclamation points motored in the desert? With no word for anything needing built by hand. The mechanism of the spray returned to familiarity. So what has been, and what is a spilling or a lift, if not a cavity where a life begins? Do not excuse me. I am not who I say. I have become.
This is Valgina Mort, and I am reading my poem, To Antigone, a Dispatch. Antigone, dead siblings are set. As for the living, pick me for a sister. I, too, love a proper funeral. Dragged against sisters, pop-up burial. Landlady, I make the rounds of graves, keeping up my family's top-notch properties. On a torture instrument called an accordion, I stretch my bones into fingers over which my guts have been emptied like bellows for the best sound. Once we settle your brother, I'll show you forests of the unburied dead. We'll clean the way only two sisters can clean a house. No bones scattered like dirty socks, no ashes at the bottom of kneecaps. Why bicker with husbands about dishes when we've got mountains of skulls to shine? Labor and retribution will share, not girly secrets. Brought up by dolls and monuments, I have the bearings of a horse and a bitch. I'm cement in tears. You can spot my graves from afar, marble like newborn skin. Here, history comes to an end, like a movie, with rolling credits of headstones, with nameless credits of mass graves. Every ditch, every hill is suspect. Pick me for a sister, Antigone. In this suspicious land, I have a bright shovel of a face.
My name is Srikanth Reddy, and I'll be reading the opening section from Underworld Lit. In the inky, dismal, and unprofitable research of a recent leave of absence from my life, I happened upon a historical prism of Ashurbanipal that I found to be somewhat disquieting. Of an enemy whose remains he had abused in a manner that does not bear repeating here, this most scholarly of Mesopotamian kings professes, I made him more dead than he was before. Prisms of this sort were often buried in the foundations of government buildings, to be read by gods, but not men. Somewhere in the shifting labyrinth of movable stacks, I could hear a low dial tone humming without end. In Ashurbanipal's library, there's a poem, written on clay, that corrects various commonly held errors regarding the venerable realm of the dead. Contrary to the accounts of Mulian, Madame Blavatsky and Quasi-Benefo et al., it is not customarily permitted to visit the underworld. No, the underworld visits you.
Hi, my name's Yusuf Sadi. I'll be reading a poem titled Joliette from my collection Pluviophile. At Métro Joliette with my joli cœur, we walked to the dépanneur, discussed Dasein while buying a Perrier and a block of beurre. Outside, -23. With a wind chill, it's real fuckery. Your back pockets warm my fingertips, your cherry chapstick so summery. Take me to the Everglades, a place where flowers never fade, but pans inside your basement wait to fry us scrambled eggs, real buttery. Blue sunrise on palms, a peignoir, a neighbor grows peonies in a baignoire. I dreamt a homeless pant revealed Hochelag in a Renoir. Make love inside these old maisons, until condos sail across the Saint Laurent. The vieux accent is extinct in the cordonier's window plein noir. Morning flurries, très légère, someone's shovel scrapes fragile air. A chasse-neige is herding cloud, the hunched man salts his spiral stairs.
This is Tracy K. Smith reading the poem Black Hair from My Name Will Grow Wide Like a Tree, selected poems by E. Lay. Black hair. Black hair, like youth, runs wild in March. Dark papery leaves fly teeming, swarming, bum-rushing March. Black hair in March is gentle, strangers' eyes softer. Memory, a feast on offer. Youth, born of the primordial sea, embrace me. Drape my skin, old as clouds, in something suppler. Black hair blown free, rootless, wanders the desert's countless tombs, sways across a vacant sky, whips at fresh mud in rain. Days blaze past. I have lost sight of my own black hair in the mirror. Let me watch it now for the next 1,000 years. Black hair, weedy in dirt-poor soil, thirsty, deluded, squandering its spoils. Black hair has no idea. The story of black hair is my story. When I die, let me drift like a dandelion of black hair. Black hair like holy water. No way, there is no way to be saved except to die. When black hair cries, its tears snuff themselves out like candles. So will my life cease to flicker. Black hair, exhausted brush fire, fanned by misery, whistling through the last century. Black hair, shredded black flag of a woman's glory, ragged and battered in March wind. Forsaking dignity, absolved of chastity, with its pride in knots, black hair smiles easily in March. If waterfall, it will plummet. If cloud, it will scatter. Eyes plaintive, wide. Black hair waits to be spun by hardened hands into rock.
I am Yusuf Kaminyaka, and I am honored to receive the 2021 Lifetime Recognition Award from the Griffin Trust, dedicated to excellence in poetry internationally. And I am thankful to be in the good company of those I truly admire. I am reading Islands from Everyday Mojo Songs of Earth, Selected Poems, 2001 to 2021. Islands, dedicated to Derek Walcott. An island is one great eye gazing out, a beckoning lighthouse, searchlight, a wishbone compass, or counterweight to the stars. When it comes to outlook and point of view, a figure stands on a rocky ledge, peering out towards an archipelago of glass on the mainland. A seagull's wings touching the tip of a high wave, out to where the brain may stumble. But when a mind climbs down from its long, craggy lookout, we know it is truly a stubborn thing, and has to leaf through pages of dust and light, through pre-memory and folklore, remembering fires roared down there till they pushed up through the seafloor in plumes of ash, covered the dead, shaken, awake, whirls away, and silence fill up with centuries of waiting. Sea urchin, turtle, and crab came with earthly know-how, and one bird arrived with a sprig in its beak, before everything clouded with cries, a millennium of small deaths now topsoil, and seasons of blossoms in a single seed. Light edged along salt-crusted stones, across a cataract of blue water, and lost sailors' Paris spoke of sirens, the last words of men buried at sea. Someone could stand here contemplating the future, leafing through torn pages of St. Augustine, or the prophecies by fishermen, translating spur and folly down to tablet, the dreamy-eyed boy still in demand, the girl and the woman, a sunny forecast behind today, but tomorrow's beyond words. To behold a body of water is to know pig iron and mother wit. Whoever this figure is, he will soon return to dancing through the aroma of dagger's log, ginger lily, and bougainvillea, between chants and strings struck, till gourds rally the hill and air, and the church steeple birds fly sweet darkness home. Whoever this friend or lover is, he intones redemptive homilies. To lie down in remembrance is to know each of us is a prodigal son or daughter, looking out beyond land and sky, the chemical and metaphysical beyond, falling and turning water wheels in the colossal brain of damnable gods, a eureka held up to the sun's blinded eye, born to gaze into far. After conquering frontiers, the mind comes back to rest, stretching out over the white sand.